welcome back to Talking Marvel with Oz, where we are reviewing the latest in Hachette's Marvel Legendary Collection. And what is this latest one, Oz?
Loki, Agent of Asgard, Trust Me.
Trust Me. How was it?
It was a great book. I enjoyed it. It was very interesting. When I first started reading it, it was quite confusing because of all the Asgardian talk. But I got used to it and I started understanding it more. Now, the main purpose of this book is that Loki basically, he gets sent on a mission by the All-Mother, and if he completes the mission, he gets one of his sins erased from time. And
he's got a lot of sins, right?
Yeah.
I know you find it a little bit confusing at the beginning. There's the very beginning of this book. There are very quick snippets of him jumping around all over the place, isn't there? Where he's collecting keys. And I think originally it would have been either a free comic book day, sort of very small one shot, building up to this story. That they've just collected in the beginning of this edition. So it's a little confusing at first. He's going to get one from... Doesn't he get one from the X-Men? He robs one from... So he's dancing around all over the place before the actual main story begins. And that can be a little confusing. Are these all different Lokis?
Yeah.
So is it similar to the show where he's... There's multiples?
It's a little bit to the show. I only remember seeing in the book 2 of the Lokis that are on here.
Yeah.
I saw the girl Loki and the old Loki, but the other 4, no idea who they are. They weren't in the book.
But I mean, this is kind of why I like this collection, because I mean, I'd never buy this. I mean, personally, I would never, outside of the collection, I wouldn't think, you know what, I fancy reading a Loki book, because I wouldn't. It's not something that I'd go for.
What's the point in reading a Loki book when you can read Loki in a 4 comic?
But are you glad you've read this now?
Yeah,
this is what I mean, and this is kind of it. So it does bring you on to things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily go for, because again, I mean, if you're going to go looking for Marvel graphic novels on an Amazon or even in Waterstones or someone like that, you're probably going to float towards a Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Or an Avengers or something like that.
X-Men.
An X-Men. You're not going to think, well, Loki. I mean, you might, but it's unlikely. So I think the fact that these kind of, I wouldn't say force you, but open your eyes to something different. Yeah. I think is pretty good. I think that's quite a good thing.
Yeah, there was... I wasn't looking forward to reading the 4 comics.
Oh, see, I love Thor.
Yeah, I like Thor, but I'm not fancying reading the comics because I wouldn't call him my favourite Avenger.
Well, comic Thor is very different to MCU Thor. MCU Thor is a lot more sort of slapsticky and Chris Hemsworth kind of comedy character.
That's what the 4 was like in this book. He was obnoxious.
because this is, I mean, again, this is relatively new. Let me see if the date of original publication is in here, because this wasn't out when I was collecting comics. This must have come out way after 2010.
This book was really interesting, although I did get this one bit confused. Loki stabs Thor, and then evil old Loki.
Yeah.
He finds this black goo and contains it, and then he gives it to the All-Mother, and when the young Loki is left, an evil old Loki appears.
Right.
And it's like, what?
So this was 2013, so yeah, I wouldn't have... This was about 3 years after when I stopped collecting heavy. And obviously, there was a newfound interest in Loki from the Avengers movies, because again, Loki was never... He was a key character to Marvel, always has been, but he was never...
It's sad to see him dead in the MCU, but...
He's not dead in the MCU. No one dies in Marvel.
He's not dead because he's in his own TV show.
The one thing that's true of Marvel, no one dies, right?
Ultron died.
He ain't dead.
Quicksilver.
He's not dead.
But we saw him die.
Nah.
We saw him die twice.
You saw a version of him die.
Yeah, but we saw...
This is what I'm saying. No one dies in Marvel, right? I'm sure some smart ass out there has got the exception to the rule. Name it, because I'm all ears. What character died in Marvel and never, ever, ever came back, or had a whole new story arc? As an example of this, right? Matt Murdock's dad battling Jack Murdock, right?
Who's Jack Murdock?
Matt Murdock's dad, Daredevil.
Oh.
was a boxer, gets killed, right? And that's it. So that's kind of his arc complete. He just dies at the beginning of Daredevil. It was about 40 years later, he gets a mini-series about battling Jack Murdoch. So no one dies, they all come back. And it's this thing where it's like...
I will tell you who did die, definitely. The guy in the cave that helped Iron Man build his suit.
He's dead for now.
Yeah, but it's not like you're going to see him come back. He wasn't important.
No one stays dead. This is just what I'm saying. No one stays dead. They all come back at some point. They all come back. And this is the thing. Even if you didn't want to do it where they've been resuscitated, there's nothing... I mean, if those films started to take a nosedive, if they weren't doing good money at the box office, I'm fairly sure with a blank check they could get Robert Downey Jr. back to play Iron Man and just make a movie that was set between Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3. Here's some shenanigans Iron Man got up to you didn't know about, like they did with Black Widow. Black Widow died in Endgame. And
they still made a Black
Widow. And what was the first film after Endgame? Black Bloody Widow. So I mean, they could release another 3 of those movies. These all happen between that or before this, and you know, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No one stays dead. So it's the way it is. But I mean, again, I like the fact that these books have got you to read a Loki story, because I wouldn't have.
These books did sort of confuse me as well. At one point, Doctor Doom was in this, in the Red Skull, and Reed Richards' daughter, and what I learnt from that is that Reed Richards' daughter does not like her parents.
The good thing about this as well is in the back it gives you further reading. Now these 2 are just books that you can get, but these 2 are books that will be in the collection. So we can see that those are upcoming books. So we can see that...
This is Last Days.
Last Days.
A sequel to Trust Me.
A sequel to this. And then Siege will be coming up as well. So we can see 64 Siege and 87 is Last Days. And that'll be a Loki book as well. And there are some great ones coming up. Because at the moment you have got...
we found out the next 4.
We know what the next 4 are. So at the moment you have got Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel.
It's a good book so far.
Yeah. So
Guardians of the Galaxy.
We'll be doing a review of that one next week. But then next is Enemy of the State.
Yes,
Wolverine. With Wolverine. And then what else have we got coming up? We got
and then there's
Secret War.
Yes, which I'm looking forward to.
Kick-ass book.
Doctor Strange,
The Oath, which again is a big Doctor Strange story. So again, they're not skimping. It's not that they're giving us the duds. These are big stories.
What I like about this Trust Me one, Loki picks up Thor's hammer.
Again, everyone's picked up Thor's hammer.
Iron Man picked up Thor's hammer.
Everyone's picked up Thor's hammer. I know MCU are like, no, the only people that pick up Thor's hammer is Thor, Vision.
Vision's not worthy.
And Captain America. But he picked it up.
I don't think Vision's worthy, because if you remember, when Vision held the hammer, he didn't do any of the lightning stuff, but Captain America did.
Yeah.
And in the end of Age of Ultron, they said if you put Mjolnir left in a lift, it would still keep going.
Yeah.
Because he's a robot, that's why he could lift it.
In the comics, there must be 30 people that have lifted that hammer.
Hulk lifted it once in the comics, I think.
I don't know if he did. He might. He probably did.
Because there was from what I heard online, there was shenanigans that happened that made him able to lift the hammer.
I'll tell you what, with MCU and Hulk just slightly diverting, they've really weakened him.
Yeah, that's
in
not
the movies. Fair. I mean, honestly, think about it. With the exception of the Avengers,
they've weakened him.
Now, even in the Avengers, Thor kicks his ass.
Yeah.
In the Avengers.
But then he kicks Thor's ass.
He punches him in the head.
Exactly.
So he gets his ass kicked in the Avengers by Thor. In Avengers Age of Ultron, Tony Stark kicks his ass in the Hulkbuster.
Yeah, but that's because Wanda's controlling him.
Whatever, it still happens. And then in Ragnarok,
yeah,
he gets a beating from those dogs.
Yeah, but he also beats the hell out of Thor.
I suppose so.
And then he beats Abomination in the first Hulk movie.
Yeah, I know that's MCU, but it ain't MCU.
And he
keeps getting his ass whipped. Because it's like in Infinity War.
He gets beat by Thanos.
Beaten by Thanos.
And I remember when I got, well, I think it was Jack, he got a Marvel Top Trumps game, and it said Hulk's card was stronger than Thanos' card, which is true. So
in the comics,
the only reason Thanos kicked Hulk's ass is because he used the Power Stone.
In the comics, ain't no one touching Hulk. Hulk is just, because the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. He's got infinite strength, so he will just get stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's like in the movies, he's just kind of a wuss.
Exactly.
He is. I'm sorry, but he is. But yeah, we have somewhat diverted from the book.
Yes.
But the book, again, just these are gorgeous books. The hardcover's lovely. The collectible image down the side is nice as well. And not only do you get, I mean, again, it's even the opening of these books is nice, but it's all printed on very nice glossy paper. You do get the original covers in there as well, just full of splash pages, and just a gorgeous thing. And I mean, again, if you're going to collect these, you're going to end up with a really nice collection of random characters. I think it's the best way I can describe it. Just a good kind of intro to the Marvel comic world. So again, as I said before, if you've always thought I'd like to read the comics but don't really know where to begin, this is where you begin. Pick these up. These are great because this will give you so much background, and you ain't got to be that guy who's going, who's that? Who's this? Who are they? Every time someone new is introduced.
It's worth getting the books because then you create an awesome Marvel picture.
You do. It's
worth the stories.
You get the Marvel Spine picture. It also, but again, it also gives you a little bit of insight into it. So you're not one of those people that when Moon Knight's released is going, who's Moon Knight? Who's that? Why is he two people?
Literally.
Who's that? What are they?
I have this friend at school who well, he's sort of into Marvel, but he's not as into it as me. He didn't know who Moon Knight was.
Are we going off on a tangent here?
No, but I had to explain who Moon Knight was.
You don't really know who Moon Knight is.
I sort of do. I read his story.
Okay.
I read his story.
Well, Moon Knight launched on Disney Plus this week, and what did we think of Moon Knight?
Oh, it was kick-ass.
It was really good. We really enjoyed episode 1 of Moon Knight. I mean, we can't say the whole series is going to be great. It might nosedive. But from what we saw so far, loving it. I mean, minimal Moon Knight. Moon Knight was only in it for about 10 seconds at the end.
Yeah, but it was
what
still
a 10 seconds. Exactly, what a 10 seconds.
He kills that weird beast thing that... Didn't you think it was the god of death?
Anubis. Yeah, it's like an Anubis monster. Yeah, it was good. He
destroyed the bathrooms.
If you've not watched Moon Knight yet, put that right, because I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. And I'll be honest, I think of all of the Marvel shows they've done so far,
this is one of the best.
It was the strongest opening.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, WandaVision, I like WandaVision because it was confusing.
Yeah.
Like, what am I watching? What's going on here? And in the best way.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier felt like...
okay.
It felt like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier to me felt like the opening episode of that felt like the 80s shows I used to watch. It felt like Knight Rider. It felt like Airwolf. It had that kind of action show of the week feel to it. No, that's not a bad thing. But of all of the shows so far, Falcon and Winter Soldier was the one that fell kind of flat for me.
It wasn't the best.
The end was good, but the build up with the getting to the end wasn't great. I really enjoyed Hawkeye.
Hawkeye was fun. I
thought Hawkeye was fun. I'd say that's how I describe it as well.
I like the cliffhanger of when did she shoot Kingpin or not?
Kingpin ain't dead.
Nah.
Kingpin does die.
No way he does.
And I really enjoyed What If. I thought What If was good as well. What If was...
Do you know what else I really enjoyed?
Loki. Again, Loki was really good. But again, the opening episode Loki, I was a bit, I don't know.
It wasn't the best.
It wasn't. The opening episode Loki I didn't think was fantastic. I thought was... But I will genuinely say... Better. The opening episode of Moon Knight, I think, was the best opener that a Disney show has had. Yeah. If they can keep that pace up, which remains to be seen, I'm all in. I really enjoyed it.
Oscar Isaac as well. He's a good,
he nailed it. Yeah, he did. Because I mean, he's essentially going to be playing
like a bunch.
Do you know
of
what?
I'm
not going to spoil it. If you don't know Moon Knight, you would have seen from the show so far that he's playing 3 characters.
Yeah, he's playing Moon Knight, he's playing Mark, and he's playing Steven.
There's more than that, though.
Wait, there's more?
Yeah, I won't tell you who. And there's one of them, there's no way Oscar Isaac can play it. So it'd be interesting
who's
to
that?
see how they do. Well, I'm not telling you.
Oh, damn.
I don't want to spoil it. I don't, because if it comes out, it'll be. If they do it, it will be.
Why do you think Oscar Isaac won't be able to play it?
Because he can't.
He can't.
He can't.
Why can't?
Because he can't. I can't go into it, but I'm sure people know Moon Knight that there is a personality of Moon Knight that if they're going to do a physical embodiment of it, Oscar Isaac can't play it.
Physical body.
If you're going to see the physical body of it, Oscar Isaac can't play it. He could, but you'd have to see how everyone else is seeing it. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it will when you see it. There's a character that there's no way that he could play. But we'll see how that pans out. But it's he couldn't. Dude, you got to trust me. He is the wrong gender, age, ethnicity,
Wrong
everything.
gender.
Yeah.
For Moon Knight. Moon Knight's a boy.
Trust me, Moon Knight's gonna get a lot more complicated. But it's a great show. So if you've not seen it yet, go check Moon Knight out. And we've seen the trailer as well for Ms. Marvel.
Oh yeah. To me, it kind of looked a little weird. I didn't really see her stretching. I saw her fist get bigger, and when she did a little jump, her body stretched out a little bit.
But I think I think special effects aren't finished yet, which is why you haven't seen the stretching.
It looked like Captain Marvel.
Well, I also question what they're going to do with her powers, whether or not they are going to have her stretching, because if they're going to be launching a Fantastic Four movie, maybe they're holding the stretchy back for Mr. Fantastic, rather than confuse the audience by going, oh yeah, she stretches and so does he. So we'll see what happens with her powers.
Maybe in a future bit, after Mr. Fantastic's done his stretchiness, she'll become stretchy. But I think what they're trying to do with it is, because she's an inhuman polymorph, she might use like Captain Marvel type powers to
possibly. I know that's what we got next. And so when Moon Knight finishes, be a couple of months we get Ms. Marvel. Then I know She-Hulk.
Yes.
And She-Hulk sounds like it's going to be a fun time because Abomination's in it. Hulk is in it. Obviously She-Hulk is in it, and a few others have been rumbling. That'll be good. And then Halloween we get Werewolf by Night. Nope, we get Werewolf by Night.
What's that?
Werewolf by Night. We got the Werewolf by Night one. It's a. I don't know what they're doing with that because it's not a series. I don't know if it's
like the Moonwolf character.
No. He's a werewolf. It's not Moonwolf. It's werewolf. Werewolf by Night. So I don't know what they're doing with that. I don't know if we're just getting a 1 hour thing or a movie, or if Moon Knight's going to be in it because he was prominent in Moon Knight stories. And then at Christmas we get the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, which that'll be good. So I'm looking forward to that.
Dad says it's going to be so funny. I want the Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Yeah, that looks good. That looks like a fun time. But yeah, so what we given this so far then, right? So of the 3 books that we've done this one, we've done New Ways to Die, and we've done Avengers Disassembled. So of those 3, in order, which is the number 1, which was the best of the 3?
Okay, so we'll start at bronze, because,
So who gets the bronze?
For me, so far, it would be Avengers Disassembled.
Disassembled takes the bronze. Which one's taking the silver?
Agent of Asgard.
So it's a good one. And the gold goes to?
New Ways to Die.
So New Ways to Die is still the current gold standard. That's the one to beat. But coming very close, second behind it at this stage is Loki and Trust Me. So that's the way we're going to do it, right? So with all these books, we're going to have our gold, silver, and bronze, and we're going to see which ones can make it into that category. So tune into our next episode where we'll find out if Ms. Marvel... Captain Marvel can dethrone one of the first 3 and take one of those podium spots. I think that's about all I've got time for this week.
Yes.
We'll be back next time with Captain Marvel and a full review of it, and probably a review of episode 2 of Moon Knight. So in a world where you can be anything at all, what are we going to be?
Be kind.
We're going to be kind. And we'll see you then. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.